You're watching On the Fritz Politics. My name's Asa. Today we're going to be discussing the second tragedy in the last month that took place in Minnesota in regards to Alex Pretti. Just another day in Trumpistan. Before we jump into that, if you don't mind, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell before you go. It would help me massively in supporting my channel. Thank you. So today, Alex Pretti, a white male born in Illinois, University of Minnesota graduate, ICU nurse, and medical professional employed at the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, was murdered in the street by immigration enforcement. Here's the deal with that. So we're going to begin with as usual, the disgusting, ghoulish Kristi Noem and her incessant need to lie in these situations out of necessity. And we'll start there. So let's hear what Kristi Noem, our head of the DHS, has to say.
This individual went and impeded their law enforcement operations, attacked those officers, had a weapon on him, and dozens of rounds of ammunition, wishing to inflict harm on these officers, brandishing like that and impeding their work that they were doing. We'll continue to allow. That is a different incident that happened at the same situation after the tragedy unfolded. But yes, that's the kind of assaults and violence that our law enforcement officers are facing out in the streets and that the local leaders are encouraging.
So I wanted to show this first because it's going to give you an idea of what the Trump administration is trying to set us up with here as far as a narrative concerning what happened to this individual. Next, we're going to watch a couple of videos. If you haven't seen them, I will say they are hard to watch for sure and incredibly sad and disturbing. So if it's going to be an issue, I would skip ahead in the video, but I'm going to show them now. So this is Alex Pretti. This is a photo of him. This is a photo of him helping up this person who was pushed over by immigration enforcement, and we'll see that in a moment. So the narrative that this guy showed up here, as Kristi Noem said, to cause a mass casualty event and do terroristic stuff like murdering immigration enforcement agents is completely unfounded. There is absolutely zero evidence. And when I say zero, I mean zero evidence of that whatsoever. Absolutely none. But this is what we've grown to understand is par for the course for this administration. They will immediately, with no evidence, come out and say absolutely fucking anything that will back up their narrative. Again, keep in mind, this is breaking news. There's going to be a ton more that comes out after this, but this is what we know so far. So this is Alex Pretti. These are obviously the ICE agents. This is another woman who is filming, who I guess probably has the most graphic footage, obviously, considering where she's standing, of the incident that took place. Let's take a look at this video real quick and see what we can see. So this narrative they're going to run with about the gun being a big part of the situation is debunked almost entirely by this video, I think. So we're going to start this over. This is going to show a immigration enforcement officer here stepping up to the tussle, empty-handed. So we see Alex on the ground here. We see his hands on the ground. This is the other officer's empty hand. He's reaching for Alex's gun, which is in the holster behind him. And then in a moment, there he is picking it off. And then we see him appear with a gun in his hand, Alex's gun. And then he's shot. Not sure about you, but that narrative doesn't really fit for me. Another video of the incident from a different angle. All right, so we see the immigration officer pushing this woman. Okay, he maces him in the face, Alex in the face. Alex goes to pick her up. And then he is gang attacked by these guys, where he is continued to be maced. And you can see this guy on the far left pistol whipping him in the face. You can see that very clearly at another angle. And then he is shot. As you can see, this is the officer we just watched taking his gun and backing away from the scene. In my eyes, it couldn't be much more clear. This is the narrative they're probably going to run with, that he's holding a gun in his hand. This is his cell phone. In almost every picture we can see of him, he is recording with his cell phone. This is him holding the phone in the same hand that he was the entire time. You can also, in the original video, which I don't want to show, I don't know if it's going to be an issue showing it on YouTube, is you can see his hands very clearly on the ground. You can see the entire time that he is not armed. He does not have a gun. You can see every single bit of his hands on the ground. You can see, as we just showed you, an agent taking the gun away from him, and then he is shot. This is murder. It's no question about it. This is fucking murder. This is murder, and the administration is lying about it, as you can just see with Kristi Noem, who, again, with zero evidence, has come out and said that this guy is, again, a domestic terrorist, looking to do domestic terrorist things, and was there to kill ICE officers. Keep in mind, this is fresh breaking news. More info and videos are bound to surface, but as we can pretty clearly see from the videos we just watched, Pretti, hands visible, was lawfully carrying a gun, no plan of mass casualty, no evidence of anything that Kristi Noem just mentioned. Remember that. Zero evidence. Remember how fucking incensed the right was over Kyle Rittenhouse and his Second Amendment rights? There will not be a word about Alex Pretti, who, according to everything we've seen, never drew his gun, never fired a shot before he was maced in the face, pistol whipped on the ground in the face, and shot at near point blank range. Period. Additionally, a Minnesota gun rights organization has expressed extreme concern about this shooting. As you can see, press release, Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus responds to the shooting death of Alex Pretti. Gun Owners Caucus press release, we are deeply concerned by this morning's reports that a federal law enforcement operation in Minneapolis resulted in the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Pretti by federal agents. According to local officials, the man was legally armed, a firearm was recovered at the scene, and he is believed to be a lawful gun owner and permit to carry holder. Many critical facts remain unknown. We do not yet have an independent account of what initiated the encounter or what triggered the use of deadly force. Despite widespread speculation regarding intent, there has been no evidence, produced indicating an intent to harm the officers. We are calling for a full and transparent investigation by both state and federal authorities. Every peaceable Minnesotan has the right to keep and bear arms, including while attending protests, acting as observers, or exercising their First Amendment rights. These rights do not disappear when someone is lawfully armed, and they must be respected and protected at all times. This is the Gun Owners Caucus in Minnesota. So additionally concerning, Minnesota and Minneapolis law enforcement have obviously made requests to investigate this killing. And as per usual, and as with Renee Good, federal law enforcement will not cooperate. So instead, DHS has taken over the investigation. Oh boy, lying Kristi Noem and the rest will have taken over this investigation. So after saying what they just said in that press conference we just watched, they also took away the FBI's ability to investigate this. So obviously we all know what the results of this sham investigation are going to be, right? We looked into it, we looked into ourselves, and we found we did nothing wrong. Great. So I have to ask my conservative friends out there, does the fact that this blatant murder lies and the events transpiring afterward, the fact that it already has a foregone conclusion attached to it, does that not disturb you to no end? Where are the states' rights in 2A, guys? DHS is openly killing U.S. citizens, lying directly to our face about the killings, and then using federal jurisdiction to cover up and impede any further investigation by state and local law enforcement, essentially sweeping it under the rug. This is straight up hallmark authoritarianism or totalitarianism. The government says, we are intentionally lying. We know that you know we're lying, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Lay down with the fucking boot on your neck. Now, to be perfectly clear, it isn't just Mar-a-Lago plastic face Piccadilly whore Kristi Noem who's the mastermind behind all this insanity. It is very, very clearly Stephen Miller, Deputy White House Chief of Staff and the DHS advisor who happens to be a fan of, as you can see here, the 1973 dystopian novel Camp of the Saints, which is a huge book in white nationalist circles. The Camp of the Saints is a 1973 French novel by Jean Raspail. Don't know how to say that, I'm sorry. That has become a key inspiration within white nationalist circles. It portrays a dystopia, or perhaps an apocalypse, a flotilla of South Asian people who invade France and effectively overthrow Western society. The key themes are actually white supremacy and the end of white civilization as the West knows it. Infestation, invasion, hordes of nameless, faceless migrants who come to indeed invade the West and bring about its end, says Chelsea Steiber, professor of French and Francophone studies at Catholic University of America. The quote in question is when Stephen Miller says, in one message, Miller references a book of fiction, someone should point out the parallels to Camp of the Saints. I wonder why. So keep in mind, it's not just immigrants that they want to get the boot. Those who defend the rule of law and help hordes of people from other shithole, non-white countries as they view it enter the U.S. are also aiding and abetting what Stephen Miller considers to be an enemy of the U.S., an immigrant, regardless of whether or not we are following the law, following the Constitution, or due process. Obviously, this is deeply racist and I would say massively short-sighted. Obviously, the economic numbers on whether or not the immigrants, illegal or not, are a fiscal drag on our economy in this country doesn't fall in favor of conservatives. As you can recall, last year, Trump making allowances for over 1 million, yes, over 1 million illegal farm workers to stay in the U.S. so that agriculture doesn't take a shit and get crushed. He did that. The point is, if you are one of these, as Stephen Miller views it, lesser, brown-skinned, shithole country people trying to cross into his beautiful white America, or one of the white people working even within the bounds of the U.S. law and Constitution to aid and abet this, violence against you isn't just excusable, it's necessary, as we saw today. As Trump said himself, you might remember with that Napoleonic political maxim, he who saves his country violates no law. Remember that one? Remember that? This is the type of violence and disdain that these people show for you. And they want to inflict it upon you. Just erratic levels of fucking lying and open violence. By the way, Katie Miller, the wife of Stephen Miller, tweeted that Alex Pretti shot at officers. She tweeted that. Her tweet was deleted, but the fact that she felt comfortable enough to lie directly to your face about another murder in the streets of Minneapolis is both horrifying and infuriating beyond words. It is the mastermind of Stephen Miller and similar Trump acolytes who are essentially sending masked thugs into our city streets against the will of the states to violate our constitutional rights, as they did today with the deceased Alex Pretti. States' Rights Party, by the way, guys. Remember that. States' Rights Party. They bitched endlessly about states' rights when it comes to stuff like vaccines and taking horse pace and all that good stuff. But when it comes to this, complete and total fucking silence. These people openly violate your First Amendment to free speech and assembly, and press, our Second Amendment to lawfully carry a firearm, as in the case of Alex Pretti today, our Fourth Amendment rights to unreasonable search and seizure, especially in our homes, unless you're now suspected of harboring an illegal immigrant, which is insane, our 14th Amendment rights to due process, and so on. These people would, and I need you to remember this, these people are fake. They would wipe their ass with the Constitution if they could. All that matters to them is ideology. That's it. Remember that. There is nothing here besides ideology. Remember, these conservatives clearly, they do not govern. Donald Trump does not govern. He just inflicts. That's all he does. He inflicts pain, suffering, division, all of the economic hardship with the tariffs and so on. This is what he does. This is it. This is the fucking playbook. Over and over and over again, we've seen this. People warned about it. Kamala Harris warned about it in terms of Trump being eaten alive by Putin, which he clearly has been in not ending the war in Ukraine and so on. It is pathetic. It's pathetic. And these loudmouth Constitution, we the fucking people tattooed on their arm, conservative fish-holding fucks who voted for this 3 times still don't get it. Now, lastly, and I will keep saying this on this channel until I am fucking blue in the face, there needs to be some kind of reworking of our information consumption in this country. The Trump administration is by far, as we can see, easily the most divisive administration in modern history, and they're doing that to us through masses of mis and disinformation. We as countrymen here in the US cannot exist in 2 separate realities any longer. There has to be some level of epistemic grounding in our political system, or we are certainly doomed. We should not have to accept blatant lies from the state, from Kristi Noem, from Donald Trump, and those in the media and in civilian life who follow and perpetuate these lies over and over and over again through their voting, through their habits, and so on, need to be able to wean off this MAGA-fueled addiction to misinformation once this term is over. So whatever is left of our democracy after this term is finished, there will have to be a definitive carving out of policies or principles to discern fact from fiction, from up from down, black from white, and there will need to be accountability for the people in the media and government who deliberately try to destroy those maxims. There must be. In my personal opinion, lawful, peaceful public trials for media members and politicians involved in the perpetuation of this fucking insanity, and legal accountability for them, by the way, to the fullest extent that our justice system allows. Keywords there being lawful and peaceful. Remember, these are filthy, ghoulish liars. There is a reason why Fox News settled the largest defamation suit in history with Dominion Voting Company over their malicious lies with the 2020 election. We can't forget that. As a country, we have to return to a state where reality and facts matter and accountability exists for those people who seek to corrupt it. Period. End of story. And until that happens, we suffer. Keep that in mind going forward. I appreciate you listening. I'm going to follow this story very, very closely, obviously. I'm sure there'll be more of it in the coming days, sadly. If you're going out there to exercise your constitutional right to speak up, do it safely, do it peacefully. I know they're making it hard, almost impossible, but do your very, very best to be as safe as humanly possible. That's all we can ask. Stay safe. Have a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button for me, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more alerts when videos drop. And until then, I will see you next time.